Hi there, Altenew friends. Welcome back to another perfect pairing with me. The secret is out, and Altenew has a brand new monthly subscription to keep your creativity going throughout the year. Let me tell you everything you need to know about the Creative Cuts monthly release from Altenew. Craft Your Life Projects Kit, Build a Garden, Craft a Flower, Mini Delight, and the bi-monthly stencil art. As of January 2025, these are the 5 subscription services Altenew offers until now. Creative Cuts is another monthly subscription service different from the rest. If you love the Craft a Flower layering dies, but are looking to add something else besides florals to your stash, Creative Cuts is definitely worth checking out as another option. Creative Cuts combines the infinite possibilities of die sets with the innovative keyhole alignment guides that Altenew has pioneered for easy cardstock assembly. And with Altenew's continuous release of Crafty Necessities cardstocks, you're sure to find your next perfect color palette. Just like the other subscription services, you get the flexibility to pause, resume, and skip months. And of course, subscribing guarantees your stock at a great savings. Purchasing Creative Cuts outside of the subscription is subject to availability, especially if it's popular. Find out more about these details and to get started with Creative Cuts monthly subscription in the description box. Before I show you January 2025's Creative Cuts die set, let's take a look at this month's Build a Garden. This is Flowering Quince. And for this project, since the layering die set is so bold and easily takes up a full card front, I will just use this stamp set to simply embellish a background. The cardstock that I want to use to stamp on is Citronella, Crafty Necessities cardstock, and I have already trimmed this panel down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to break out the larger stamp wheel, the Stampwheel 2.0, to stamp on my background. And on my background, I want a cascading feel to my Flowering Quince arrangement. And I'm using the foliage and small floral elements to help frame what I anticipate to be my focal point on this card with Altenew Creative Cuts. If you're trying to replicate this card, I suggest looking for your larger stamp sets that contain a lot of foliage elements. And working down in my color gradient from Citronella is green gold. So I'll use the fresh dye ink to ink up the stamp. And once I have a nice fine outline on the left side of my background, I'll reposition my panel so that I can also capture the right side, the top right side of this panel. The nice thing about the Stampwheel 2.0 with its larger stamping platform is that I can really experiment with different layouts with the Build a Garden larger stamp sets. So really that is all I'll do for this background for now. So I'm going to set this aside and reveal the Creative Cuts for January 2025, which is the gorgeous Houseplants layering die set. And I really like that this Creative Cuts houseplant can also supplement other small dies that you have in your Altenew collection. I like that you can add other floral elements to this more upright branch. If you have the Altenew Mix and Match Mariposa die set, you can add a little butterfly to sit amongst the arrangement. I just see so many other creative pairings that you can make with Creative Cuts houseplants. But like I mentioned, for now I'm going to keep it really simple with the Flowering Quince background. And I'll show you one possibility in assembling this houseplants die set. I went ahead and cut the pot images, and I'll show you what cardstocks I used. For the 3 open layers I associated with the pot, I cut those from vanilla cream cardstock. And then for the more solid layer, this is jet black. And then for the hanging element for this hanging pot, I cut that from moon rock. I have these arranged on my mat now from bottom to top. And I'll glue down all the pieces for the pot except for the hanging element. And I love the look of this more beige pot on top of the Citronella cardstock. But before I put this away, I'm going to take a little bit of Mocha fresh dye ink and a mini ink blending brush. And for my planned arrangement, I know that most of the pot is going to be hidden underneath the foliage. So I do want to create a quite dramatic distress to this pot. And I think it looks a little bit more real when you don't take the time to blend these edges on this pot. So now I'll set this aside along with my hanging element and start die cutting the foliage elements for this hanging basket. There are so many different green Altenew cardstocks to choose from. So I think Forest Glades and Forest Fern are going to stand out quite nicely on top of the Citronella background. So I cut the more pothos looking die from Forest Glades. And I don't know what you would call this one. It's kind of reminding me of like a succulent type hanging basket. But I cut these images from Forest Glades. This palette is feeling a little bit dark right now, even though I do plan on incorporating some lighter elements, but just in case, I did die cut another set of the pothos images from bamboo cardstock, and we'll see if we need to cut apart this vine and nestle it within the falling arrangement. I'm going to bring back my distressed pot. And I'm going to put 2 of the Forest Glades die cuts behind the pot, just so that it doesn't look like all the foliage elements are falling in front of the pot. Then I'll glue the longest Forest Glades vine on the front. And I think that the bamboo die cut pothos looks much better as the more foreground foliage element to my hanging basket. So I'm actually going to switch it out for Forest Glades and put it as the main foliage element that spills out of my hanging basket. Then with my Forest Glades die cut, I'm going to cut apart the vine so that I have these 2 pieces. I'm kind of going to rotate this more top heavy piece, apply some glue to the front of it, and set my basket on top so that it gives the illusion that the vine is falling out of the back side of my basket. And I'll do the same with the bottom half of this. I'll apply a little bit of glue to the front of it and make it look like that vine is now draping from the back of the basket. I want to add a little bit of ink texture to the more foreground foliage element that's cut in bamboo cardstock. So I'm using Mountain Pine fresh dye ink. And instead of blending this ink in a swirling motion, I'm dabbing this ink randomly throughout the arrangement. And I want this to take away a little bit of that color blocked look of this cascading vine. And I don't mind that a little bit ends up on my pot. It kind of looks like moss. I die cut these smaller flower pieces from Pastel Sunrise cardstock. And I also cut the flower centers from a medium brown cardstock. Moving down the color gradient from Pastel Sunrise, I'll use Canyon Clay fresh dye ink to add a little bit of depth to the flower centers on all 4 of my die cuts. Then I will glue and offset these layers to really fill the petals of these flowers. Then I can put my medium brown flower centers in the middle of all the petals. And I think these 2 flowers will add a little bit of interest and weight to the left side of my basket. To assemble this card, I've glued down my Citronella background with flowering quince onto a folded note card base. And in order to make sure the loop of my hanging basket element still shows on my card front and doesn't hang too far out of my card, I'm going to position my hanging element where I want the O-ring to go. Then I'll apply glue to the threads, then center and place the pot on top of my glue. And this way I make sure that the hanging element is still visible, but it's still contained within the card. I'm going to foam mount the pot to the vertical center of my background. And then I also foam mounted the flower elements to go on top of the pot. And I also put one behind the pot a little bit. Again, just to make it look like the pot is full from all angles. Before I foam mount and glue down my sentiment, I'm going to apply a generous amount of pure white ink spray splatter. And I love that for a dewy finish on any arrangement. I'm going to foam mount my sentiment. I die cut the offset element from the same colored cardstock as the flower centers, which is cut from milk chocolate. Then I'm going to embellish this card with an assortment of light gold pearl dots. And that's this really simple showcase of the new Creative Cut subscription from Altenew. And again, this is just January's release for the Creative Cut subscription line. Since Altenew already has a floral die cut subscription, anything goes with the Creative Cut subscription service. So let me know what you would like to see turn into dies from Altenew in the comments. My series encourages you to shop your existing Altenew stash and rekindle their love with newer releases. Perfect Pairings with Jaycee airs on the Altenew channel every second and fourth Sunday of the month. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in to this perfect pairing episode with me, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hello there, crafty friend, Lydia here. Just popping in to say that you can get your daily dose of crafting tips, techniques and tutorials just like this by subscribing to the Altenew YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little bell up there and you will never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.